Just a couple comments. One, to piggyback on what Paul said, it's not if it'll happen, but when it'll happen. And one thing I try and do to help people understand that, they'll say, well, I'm not as big as Home Depot. I'm not Sony. Nobody's going to bother me. And I say, you're right. The guys that are hacking into Sony and Home Depot probably aren't going to bother the small little business. You're not worth it to them. But keep in mind, they didn't start at that level. They started on the smaller businesses. They started in what I call like the AAA league and built their way up to the big leagues. So you've got a lot of people in there, and you guys are easy targets because you have this attitude, it's just not going to happen to me. And just as a side note, about 17, 18 years ago, I was a director of IT for a leasing company, and we had our annual auditors come in, and they asked us a question which is relevant to today, but we had no real answer at the time. They're like, what happens if you have a pandemic? We're like, what? When's the last time that happened? But now, I mean, you're surrounded about all this. Like, what's going to happen if, the next variant of something comes out and you're not ready for it? So this was maybe hopefully a big wake up call for all that.
Yep, that's a very good point. And in some of the processes in a past life, pandemic planning was part of it. And you're 100% right. People were like, what?
Who's going to plan for that?
Poo-poo that thing. And all of a sudden, yet here we are.
Yeah.
I think Ken, to your point, I think we've learned this in the last few ransomware attacks that they were going after potentially bigger targets, but it really kind of showed also the need for the people who are doing the hacking to get funding, right? To basically pay themselves through their activities so that they could keep hacking, right? And you can be a strategic target, a big fish that they're going after, but you're also likely to be a target of opportunity if you make it easy for them, right? And so I don't think you want to be, you want to have reasonable protections in place for the type of business that you're running. You certainly don't want to leave anything exposed that you can tie off and keep someone from getting into. But it needs to be, you need to have a measured approach, I think, to what you do and make sure that you're not undergunning your response for sure, because you could just as easily be a target of opportunity. If they get $10,000 out of 100 people or $1 million out of one person, I don't think it matters. They just want the money, right?
And you look at the T-Mobile hack, what just happened there, supposedly was some kind of semi-rookie, we'll call him, but he found one router that they had on their network. So it's kind of like going back to what Paul said. How do you know? One router that wasn't secure, and that's how they got in.
Yeah, and that's always the challenge in IT, and that's what I would tell everybody. Said it's my job to basically make sure that every hole is plugged, but it's the job of the hacker to simply find one that's open, right? And it makes it very, very challenging. So for sure.